Like millions of others, I've just finished watching the latest series of Clarkson's Farm. It's brilliant television, obviously. It's funny, it's frustrating, and it's occasionally heartbreaking. But as I sat there watching a grown man curse the lack of rain while getting buried under an avalanche of local government paperwork, a strange feeling crept over me. It was a profound sense of familiarity. Jeremy Clarkson, with all his bombast and his massive global platform, has done something quite remarkable. He's pulled back the beautiful pastoral curtain of the British countryside and exposed the raw, bleeding reality of the UK agricultural sector. He's shown the world the inane bureaucracy. He's laid bare the constant, unhelpful government interference, the shifting of legislative goalposts, and the terrifying economic vulnerability of people who work 14 hours a day just to break even. People watched it and were shocked. They couldn't believe how hard the state makes it for a farmer to simply grow a potato or sell a slice of ham in a farm shop. But as I watched him battle the bureaucrats, I realised something else. Replace that tractor with an excavator, and what have you got? You've got the British demolition and construction sector. The parallels are staggering. But as I look around our industry, a second rather sobering thought hit me. Construction doesn't have a Clarkson. We don't have a forthright, straight-talking champion with a massive mainstream megaphone who can stand up, point out the madness, and force the general public to look at the obstacles we face every single day. And that's a massive problem because our frustrations are just as severe and our stakes are just as high. In Clarkson's Farm, we watch in disbelief as local councillors spend months debating the exact type of slate allowed on a shop roof, or whether a parking space can exist on a patch of gravel. It seems petty, small-minded. Now step onto a modern demolition or construction site. Before a single bucket touches a piece of brickwork, you're trapped in a labyrinth of red tape that would make Kafka weep. You're dealing with planning permissions that take months, if not years. You're navigating pre-commencement conditions, environmental impact assessments, and BAT surveys that can halt a multi-million pound regeneration project just because someone found a dropping in an old attic. Now, don't get me wrong, safety and environmental stewardship matter. We want to do things properly. But the sheer volume of administrative paralysis imposed on this sector is suffocating. And then you have the shifting goalposts. You bid for a contract based on one set of rules. You calculate your margins, you invest in the heavy machinery, you hire the lads, and you set to work. And then halfway through the project, the legislative wind changes. Suddenly, the government decides to alter the rules on fuel subsidies, or they introduce a new emission zone that renders half your fleet obsolete overnight unless you spend hundreds of thousands of pounds upgrading them. Or the procurement criteria changes, demanding endless new boxes to be ticked that have absolutely nothing to do with the quality of the engineering or the safety of the site. It's financial roulette. You're asked to invest heavily in the future of British infrastructure while the government holds the remote control to the rules, ready to press pause or change the channel whenever it suits them. And it breeds a profound vulnerability. Just like the farmer wondering if a bad harvest or a sudden change in government grants will bankrupt them, the independent contractor is constantly one delayed planning decision or one cancelled contract away from the brink. So why does the public care about the farmer but not the demolition or construction man? I think it comes down to romance. Britain loves the myth of the countryside. We love the idea of the rugged farmer tending the land. There's an inherent sympathy there. Conversely, construction and demolition are viewed as a nuisance. To the average onlooker, we're the people causing the traffic jams, we're the noise outside the window, the dust on the car windscreen, the visual scar on the high street. The public sees the disruption, but they rarely see the immense skill, the heritage, or the economic heartbeat behind the hoarding. We're an invisible industry hidden behind high fences, and because we're invisible, we're an easy target for regulation, taxation, and blame. And that's why we need our own Clarkson. We need someone who can look directly into a television camera and explain to 20 million people why the current system is broken. We need someone who can make the mechanics of a hydraulic shear as fascinating as the turning circle of a Lamborghini tractor. We need a figurehead who can inject humour, candour, and mainstream appeal into heavy industry. Someone who can look a minister in the eye on national television and say, "You want us to build houses, you want us to renew the economy. So why are you making it so fucking difficult for us to do the job?" Until we find that voice, we'll remain in the shadows, quietly battling the red tape, quietly absorbing the shifting costs, and quietly keeping the wheels of turning infrastructure moving. Farmers have found their champion. It's high time the men and women of demolition and construction found theirs.